It's the end of another year, and that means another Vita Game of the Year countdown. As expected, we've had less releases this year compared to the previous few years, but that doesn't mean we haven't had good games. Before I get into the list, just a note that if you're a fan of Vita, PSP or Switch games, please consider subscribing to my channel. I've got a lot more Vita and PSP videos planned for the future, and you'll hear about my third PS Vita book, which I'll be kickstarting in a few weeks. So let's jump into my top 5 Vita games of 2019. Number 5. MetaGal. MetaGal is a Mega Man clone, but it's a really good one. You fight through different levels, eventually taking on the level boss and claiming their ability to use for yourself. The graphics and music were great, and it was a lot of fun. It's a bit short and it could have used more levels, but other than that I really enjoyed it. Number 4. Devious Dungeon 2. I enjoyed Devious Dungeon 1. The gameplay was simple but fun. It was just a bit easy and short. The sequel retained the same great gameplay, but it's now much longer and with different characters to play as. It could get pretty challenging at times, but the loop of beating enemies, collecting cash and upgrading your character was very addictive. Number 3. Fate Extella Link. We don't get many 3D action games for the Vita anymore, and Fate Extella Link is probably the last one we'll be getting. It's a Dynasty Warrior style Musou game. The story is a bit messy, but the gameplay is great. It's got a varied cast of characters to play as, and loads of content to play through. Number 2. Shovel Knight King of Cards. Shovel Knight was already a brilliant game that's just got better and better with each new piece of free content. The King of Cards campaign retains the charm of the game, adds a lot more humour, and introduces some unique movement and mechanics and a new minigame called Joustus. It's more fun and light-hearted than the other campaigns, and has a great level of variety between the traditional platforming levels, Joustus card games, boss fights and mini puzzle games. Just buy it, it's brilliant. Number 1. Romancing Saga 3. This probably won't come as a shock if you've seen my recent videos about the game. I loved Romancing Saga 3. It's not an easy game to get into. It's complex and vague, but it's also rewarding and satisfying, and feels like an adventure. You're let loose on the world, visiting towns, talking to people to figure out what to do next and where to go, before you eventually take on the big bad evil guy. How you approach the game and the choices you make can have a big impact on the game. I was amazed at how the first hour of my playthrough could be totally different to that of another person. It has an old school RPG battle system, which itself is pretty deep, and excellent pixel art and music. This has become one of my favourite Vita games of all time. Check out my video coming on the 30th of December, where I list out some of the games still coming to Vita in 2020, including a few that have never been announced before. So guys, what's your favourite Vita game of 2019? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.